U.S. President Donald Trump claims to have reached out to a total of 7 nations to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, while South Korea and the U.S. are in close communication over Washington's request to send warships to the region to patrol the crucial oil route. And Trump says he may postpone his upcoming summit with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping if China fails to assist in addressing the Strait of Hormuz crisis. Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters wrapped up its award season run on Sunday, winning Oscars for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song. U.S. President Donald Trump has demanded 7 countries to send warships to Hormuz to join a coalition. Now, as far as the top office says, it should be carefully decided after sufficient talks with Washington. Our Yoon Jung-min has our top story tonight.
On U.S. President Donald Trump's call to send warships to the Strait of Hormuz, the Blue House said on Monday that the matter should be reviewed very carefully.
It should be decided after South Korea and the U.S. take enough time and carry out sufficient discussions.
Seoul is also closely studying the intent, as it reportedly maintains close communication with Washington. On Sunday, President Trump said he has demanded around 7 countries, without specifying, to send warships to Hormuz to form a coalition, adding that the U.S. will remember whether they get support or not. He has previously named 5 countries: South Korea, China, Japan, the UK, and France.
We are talking to other countries about working with us for the policing of the strait. And I think we're getting countries for us.
Other countries have so far maintained a cautious stance, including Japan, where its pacifist constitution limits its use of force. China has urged all countries to halt military actions in Hormuz without giving a public response to Trump. Since its war with the U.S. and Israel, Iran has mostly blocked shipping in the strait, where 1/5 of global oil normally passes through. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
As Trump appears to build a coalition on Iran to address the energy crisis, the U.S. president is now suggesting he may put his summit with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping on hold in his latest efforts to pressure China to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Our foreign affairs correspondent Oh Seong reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump says his summit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping this month could be postponed if Beijing doesn't help address the Strait of Hormuz crisis. In an interview published by the Financial Times on Sunday, Trump said he wants China to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, a key global energy route disrupted by the ongoing situation in the Middle East. He noted that China depends heavily on oil shipments through the waterway, adding that countries benefiting from the route should help protect it. He said he may delay the trip if China does not take part in the effort, and waiting until the summit would be too late. Trump was largely expected to visit Beijing from March 31st to April 2nd. Preparations are still underway, with senior U.S. and Chinese officials seeking to conclude preliminary talks on potential agreements on agriculture, critical minerals, and new trade mechanisms. Led by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and China's Vice Premier He Lifeng, the delegations met for more than 6 hours on Sunday at the Paris headquarters of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Sources told Reuters that China has signaled openness to buying more U.S. agricultural products, including poultry, beef, and non-soybean crops. The two sides also reportedly discussed access to Chinese critical minerals used in U.S. manufacturing, including yttrium, a rare earth element used in jet engine turbines. With the technical discussions wrapping up on Monday, the two sides are expected to focus on proposed structures to manage economic ties, including a possible U.S. China Board of Trade and Board of Investment. While sources told Reuters that the negotiations could lead to proposals for Trump and Xi Jinping to consider at their potential summit, the U.S. president's latest remarks cast uncertainty on whether their talks will take place as scheduled. The talks are also unfolding against the backdrop of new trade friction. China's Commerce Ministry said Monday it has formally protested Washington's decision to launch new Section 301 investigations. Beijing accused Washington of unilateral and discriminatory measures and warned the move may seriously undermine the stability of global industrial and supply chains. Oh Seong, Arirang News.
In the meantime, tough talk continues between the U.S. leader and Iran's top diplomat, with each claiming the upper hand in the military conflict. Jong Hae-rim has the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump is declaring a near-total victory over Iran, claiming American forces have completely decimated Tehran's air defense, navy, and drone manufacturing facilities. Speaking to reporters on Sunday, the president also made striking claims about back-channel diplomacy.
We're talking to them, but I don't think they're ready. So I don't even know that we want to make it deal.
Mr. President, you mentioned that Iran's military
They want to make it deal badly.
However, Iranian officials are claiming otherwise. Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Tehran sees no reason to hold talks with the United States, insisting that Iran has not requested a ceasefire and will continue to fiercely defend itself. The conflicting diplomatic claims come as the multi-front war enters its 17th day. Israel claims to have destroyed over 1,700 Iranian military assets and 100 air defense systems and plans to continue its heavy bombardment for at least 3 more weeks. The Israeli military is also increasing its strikes in Lebanon. Early Monday, a powerful explosion rocked Beirut's southern suburbs as Israel struck at the Hezbollah infrastructure. While there were no immediate reports of casualties, sweeping Israeli evacuation orders have now displaced over 800,000 people across the region. In retaliation, Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it has fired thousands of drones and missiles at U.S. and Israeli targets since the war began. The expanding threat zone forced Dubai International Airport to temporarily halt flights following a drone attack that sparked a nearby fuel tank fire. With both sides locked in a fierce propaganda war alongside the physical battlefield, the path to an actual ceasefire remains highly uncertain. Jong Hae-rim, Arirang News.
And over the weekend, more than 200 South Koreans stranded in the Middle East have been brought home in the country's first military airlift evacuation. Lee Seung-ja's report.
A South Korean military transport aircraft carrying evacuees from the Middle East arrived in Seoul on Sunday evening, marking the first airlift evacuation using a military plane since the Middle East conflict escalated last month. A KC-330 Cygnus multi-role aerial tanker landed at Seoul Air Base in Seongnam, just south of the capital at 5:59 p.m., bringing home 204 South Korean nationals and 7 foreign citizens from Saudi Arabia.
Now that we've made it out, I think we'll be able to stay safe. I just hope the war ends soon.
The flight was very comfortable and all of the crew members were extremely professional. They were very helpful for us, yeah. We were originally in Kuwait, so every night that we could hear missiles, and the Korean embassy helped us with a bus to get into Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and then they arranged for this flight. So we're very grateful to the Korean government and everybody at the Korean embassy in Kuwait.
The evacuation mission, codenamed Desert Shine, was launched as thousands of South Koreans remained stranded across the Middle East due to widespread flight disruptions amid the expanding war between U.S.-Israeli forces and Iran. President Lee Jae-myung on Sunday expressed gratitude to government officials and personnel who successfully carried out the operation. In a post on X, Lee said those who had been isolated by the deteriorating security situation returned home safely aboard the military aircraft. He thanked all those who worked around the clock under difficult conditions to ensure the mission's success, calling the evacuation a meaningful achievement made possible through whole-of-government cooperation. The president noted that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of National Defense, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Air Force took part in the effort. South Korean diplomatic missions in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Lebanon also played key roles, alongside the government's Joint Rapid Response Team and the National Police Agency. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The South Korean government and the ruling Democratic Party agreed Monday to release strategic oil reserves over the next 3 months to ease the impact of surging global energy prices following the Middle East conflict. The plan includes the gradual release of 22.46 million barrels of crude, an amount coordinated with the International Energy Agency, as officials work to stabilize the domestic energy supply and prices. Authorities are also preparing this year's first supplementary budget, which they aim to submit to the National Assembly by the end of March to address the economic fallout from the conflict. Now, the proposed budget is expected to focus on energy supply stabilization, support for small businesses and exporters, and measures to ease rising fuel costs for households. Over the weekend on the Korean Peninsula, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un observed a live fire test of multiple rocket launch systems, which he said showcased the regime's military strength. Our defense correspondent Kim Bo-kyung reports.
North Korea conducted a firepower strike drill using 600mm ultra-precision multiple launch rocket systems with the participation of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un accompanied by his daughter Chue, according to the Korean Central News Agency on Sunday. The state-run KCNA reported that long-range artillery units of the Korean People's Army carried out a live-fire strike drill in western areas the previous day using 12 MLRS units manned by 2 artillery companies firing 600mm ultra-precision rockets. Kim Jong-un underlined that the drill was to cause uneasiness among forces hostile to the north, enemies within a 420-kilometer strike range. The media also added the rockets hit an island target about 364.4 kilometers away in the East Sea with an accuracy of 100% and released photos showing the rockets being launched sequentially. One expert said these were clearly to demonstrate forces it could use against South Korea.
By clearly mentioning the target range, North Korea was showing that major South Korean military bases, including the Seoul area, are within range. Firing more than 10 missiles at once is unusual and likely meant to show it could overwhelm missile defenses such as THAAD or Patriot.
He was quoted as saying the MLRS would immediately be used as a secondary means for a massive destructive strike in case defense measures fail to prevent foreign forces from launching military provocations or invasions. This comes a day after South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said it detected more than 10 ballistic missiles launched from the Sunan area of North Korea toward the East Sea at around 1:20 p.m. on Saturday. The launches are widely seen as a response to the ongoing U.S.-South Korea joint military exercise Freedom Shield, which began on the 9th. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
In LA, K-pop Demon Hunters made history once again, this time at the 98th Academy Awards, taking home 2 Oscars. Our culture correspondent Park Bonu tells us more.
And the Oscar goes to K-pop Demon Hunters.
The moment K-pop fans have been waiting for. K-pop Demon Hunters captured the Oscar for Best Animated Feature at the 98th Academy Awards, beating the likes of Zootopia 2 and Elio. Bursting into tears, the film's director had this to say.
And for those of you who look like me, I'm so sorry that it took us so long to see us in a movie like this. But it is here. And that means that the next generations don't have to go longing. This is for Korea and for Koreans everywhere.
Since the voters are active members of the film industry, there could have been different perspectives, but it was recognized for the overall quality as well as its music. The director also stayed true to her cultural identity despite years of challenges and opposition, and the film's success reflects the growing power of K-culture.
The win comes as the animated film has become Netflix's most-watched movie ever since its release in June last year. And that followed a string of major awards for the film and its soundtrack this year, including wins at the Critics' Choice Awards, Golden Globes, and even the Grammys. At the Academy Awards, the film's main song Golden was also a winner, picking up the award for Best Original Song, making it the first K-pop themed music to take home the award.
Growing up, people made fun of me liking K-pop, but now everyone's singing our song and all the Korean lyrics, and I'm so proud. And I realized the song, this award is not about success, it's about resilience. And I'm just so grateful to our team.
EJ, Rayami, and Audrey Nuna, the voices of the animated trio Huntrix, also performed the track live, alongside traditional Korean instruments and dancers. The audience waved light sticks prepared for the event as they cheered along, turning the venue into a scene straight out of the film.
Performances at the Academy Awards are usually presented on a more cinematic scale. The Golden Stage was striking and emotional, particularly for Koreans, and showed a strong understanding and appreciation of K-pop culture.
On Monday, South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung congratulated the creators on the win, saying it showcased the global power of Korean culture and broadened its horizons, and bringing pride to Koreans worldwide while inspiring the next generation. With K-pop Demon Hunters resonating with global fans and sweeping major awards, attention is now turning to what comes next for K-pop-inspired storytelling on the global stage. 박건우, Arirang News.
As rural populations shrink, many countryside elementary schools are closing, putting some villages at risk of disappearing. But a rural study program is bringing fresh hope, attracting students from big cities to local schools. Our Jong-un has the story.
The day at this rural elementary school in Namwon City, Jeollabuk-do Province, begins with movement and laughter. Instead of going to private academies, these children rush to the gym for physical activities. Here, students enjoy skating and skateboarding and escape from academic stress.
All of us really enjoy going outside and inline skating, or riding boards or bikes.
The rural study program in Jeollabuk-do Province targets small elementary schools with between 10 and 60 students and offers up to 500,000 won per month in financial support for families moving to the countryside. The number of students at this school rose from 24 to 66 this year. However, limited facilities and housing make it difficult to accept more students who wish to join the program.
Due to limited housing, we were only able to host 4 families, 12 students, which we feel a bit regretful about. Our school will continue to offer programs that keep our students satisfied and meet parents' expectations. We will keep making efforts to maintain an appropriate number of students.
Beyond the classroom, the students explore the village itself, where they are encouraged to connect with the wider community. These elementary school students are visiting the Rural Administrative Center, where they'll meet with community leaders and residents and learn about the village as part of the curriculum. Along the way, they stop to observe nature and learn about living organisms, even watching the principal move a beehive from a building. Students also show curiosity about rural life, asking questions and talking with official workers and even the city mayor. After school, we followed 2 children whose family came from Seoul to join the rural study program this semester. For now, they are staying at a village community center as permanent housing has not yet been arranged.
We initially applied for a 2-year stay, but we're also considering continuing through middle and high school. In Seoul, we hardly knew who lived next door, but here, the residents feel like one big family.
For many families, the rural study program is more than a temporary experience. It is a chance to rethink what education and community can look like. Jong-un, Arirang News, Namwon.
Time now to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. For that, we have our sports editor, Paul Nietzsche, joining us in the studio. Hello, Paul.
Hello.
Paul, why don't we begin with football and the women's national team's achievements in the Asian Cup?
Right, they are through to the semi-finals and having done so, have also secured a place at next year's World Cup in Brazil. But their place in the last 4 of the Asian Cup was secured on Saturday via a 6-0 win over Uzbekistan. It was a game that had 6 different goal scorers. Son Hwa-yeon and Go Yu-jin had career 2 goals to the good with just 20 minutes played before Park Soo-jong made it 3-0, just shy of the hour mark. Legend Ji So-yeon made it 4 on 72 minutes before Lee Eun-young and Jang Sol-gi made it 5-0 and then 6-0. Korea will now face Japan on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Japan put 7 past the Philippines. The other semi-final sees host nation Australia take on China tomorrow.
Fingers crossed for Team Korea. Now to the men's national team now. Paul, I understand there was a roster announcement earlier today. Tell us more about that.
Right, yes, for the 2 upcoming friendly matches with the Ivory Coast and Austria. And the big takeaway is that Yang Hyung-jin has earned a recall to the squad. The Celtic winger was last called up 9 months ago. He bagged a brace on Sunday in Celtic's 3-1 win over Motherwell. But there's no place for Yang Min-hyuk, but the likes of Son Heung-min, Hwang Hee-chan, Lee Gang-in, Oh Hyun-gu and Kim Min-jae are all in as expected. So too is Lee Jae-sung, who scored for Mainz in the Bundesliga on Saturday in a 2-0 win over Werder Bremen. It was his 2nd goal in as many games and 6th goal of the season. Jong-un is out despite scoring a late winner for Union Berlin on Saturday away to Freiburg, also in the Bundesliga. Korea will face the Ivory Coast in Milton Keynes in England on March 28th and then Austria in Vienna on April 1st as the team gets ready for the World Cup this summer.
So there's that on the football front. And now moving on to baseball now. A big name has announced their retirement from internationals, right?
Yes, Ryu Hyun-jin, that was following Korea's exit from the World Baseball Classic. He was on the mound for when Korea lost 10-0 to the Dominican Republic in the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic on Friday. He said it was an honor to be back, but that this is it for him. Korea had just scraped through from the pool stage for the first time since 2009. He was playing in a World Baseball Classic for the first time since then, and for the national team for the first time since 2010, when at the Asian Games. Meanwhile, Kim Hye-sung rejoined up with the LA Dodgers to record 1 hit in 4 at-bats in a preseason game on Sunday, a 14-8 win over the Chicago Cubs. He now has 7 hits in 17 at-bats in preseason with a batting average of .412.
I see, Paul. Before I let you go, finally, some World Championship medals for South Korean short track stars, right?
Yes, some carrying on their great form from the Winter Olympics, of course, but at the ISU World Championships in Montreal, Canada, Kim Gil-li won 2 gold medals. On Sunday, the 1,500 metres with a time of 2 minutes 31.003 seconds. The day before, Kim won the 1,000 metres. Kim had won 2 gold medals at the Winter Olympics just last month. Also on Sunday, Jong-un won gold in the men's 1,000 metres. He'd also won the 1,500 metres the day before. The 2 medals are the first in a World Championships in his career.
Great stuff, as always, Paul. Thank you for coming in tonight. I'll see you next Monday.
Yes, thank you.
Skies were mostly clear across the country today, but clouds moved in later in the afternoon. Across much of the country, ultra-fine dust levels remains high, and we'll continue to see cloudy skies tomorrow. Large temperature swings between day and night will be seen until Tuesday, and morning temperatures will drop below freezing in most parts of the country. Please refer to upcoming weather updates for more details and take care of your health. Tomorrow morning will feel still quite chilly, with Seoul starting off at 2 degrees, Chuncheon -2 degrees, Daejeon 0 degrees. Then by the afternoon, highs will be rising to 15 degrees in Seoul, Daegu, Gwangju, Busan, all topping out at 17 degrees. Some sporadic rainfall may be seen as well. The rain will mostly taper off by tomorrow night. However, on Jeju Island, showers may linger into early Thursday morning. For the rest of the week, we'll continue to see typical early spring weather with large temperature swings. Now here's a look at the weather around the world.
That is all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.